Hello everybody, good morning. Today is 11th of September. My name is Sahil and welcome to the newspaper analysis. Good morning Lechitra, Mahesh, Akanksha. Guys, taking up the today's newspaper analysis. Guys, first of all, today there is no edition of the Hindu newspaper because on to the occasion of Vinayak Chaturthi, the edition of for the 11th September has not been published. So today into the Hindu newspaper there is no edition. And guys, today being the Saturday, into the Mint newspaper also there's a lounge edition that comes, and into the lounge edition the lifestyle and all such kind of things are there. So there also there will be no important news for the UPSC examination. And guys, so today we will be taking up some of the articles from the Indian Express explained section as well as the editorials from the Indian Express also we will be taking up, which are very much relevant for the UPSC examination. So today the Hindu we cannot discuss because the edition has not been published for the today. So guys, taking up the newspaper analysis articles one by one. Now, first of all, we will be taking up the GS code for today. So guys, today we will be taking a GS code from the Kofi Annan, the former United Nations Secretary General. Kofi Annan says that gender equality is more than a goal in itself. It is a precondition for meeting the challenge of reducing poverty, promoting sustainable development, and building good governance. It has been provided that without the gender equality, all these particular things cannot happen because there is an intersectionality. If the gender equality will not be there, you cannot reduce the poverty, you cannot promote the sustainable development, you cannot promote the development, because women are the linchpin which actually drive the improvement in all of these particular fronts. So gender equality is a precondition for a democracy to economy to develop. So guys, this is a very powerful quote. We can utilize it into our GS paper number 1 issues related to the women. Even in GS paper number 2, we can utilize it in social justice, and into the essay onto the women, we can again utilize it. So guys, that is all about it. And now taking up the first article. Now guys, today is the 20th year anniversary of the 9/11 attack. Is it clear? And because of that particular thing, entire Indian Express newspaper is also filled up with the articles onto the 9/11 attack. Here we have taken up the 4 articles, okay, and all of them are from the Indian Express. One article from the explained section also we have taken up, and all of them are basically talking about the 9/11 attack, what has happened, what has changed, and all such kind of things are there. Is it clear? So basically we have clubbed all these particular article and holistically we will be seeing it. So all the articles editorials into the Indian Express are also onto the 9/11. Now first of all guys, if we see little bit of background what happened, the 9/11 was a very horrific day for the USA because the Al-Qaeda led by the Osama bin Laden orchestrated the attack onto the Twin Towers and the Pentagon into the USA, and the attack onto the World Trade Center that has happened, it has shook the USA because number one, the World Trade Center of the USA where the attack was, it was the economic hub of the USA. And guys, secondly, basically that was a kind of an attack onto the superpower at that point of time. So basically, as the 9/11 attack happened, the USA started a particular mission enduring freedom, and into that particular mission a coalition of the countries was made, and that particular coalition was used to weed out the terrorism that was sprouting out of the Afghanistan. A mission got started into the Afghanistan into the 2001, and that particular mission spanned for 20 years, and now just in 2021 the USA had withdrawn from the Afghanistan. And as USA is withdrawing from the Afghanistan, we are seeing the repercussions into the Afghanistan. The Taliban has taken over the Afghanistan. Taliban had formed their government, and into that particular government, though Taliban is saying that we will be making sure that human rights are not violated, but guys, still the reports are coming into this particular way where we can see that the Taliban could not be trusted. And moreover, as the USA had withdrawn after the 20 years into the Afghanistan, the questions are also being raised onto the USA leadership. It is being asked that whether something even has been achieved by the USA or not. So basically we will identify that what has changed after the 9/11 attack and what will be the implications for the world into the 9/11 post 9/11 scenario. Now first of all guys, what has happened when we talk about the America has always maintained a particular kind of a thing that they are living into a kind of a impermeable capsule. What is this impermeable capsule? America always believed that they have a advantage of geography. They are living into the basically into the North America, fine, which is a kind of a landmass away from all the madness of the Europe, Asia, etc. World War One and World War Two. What was the center stage? Center stage was Europe. Fine. The crisis in after the Cold War, where it was also evolving into the region of Eurasia, where the entire terrorism was sprouting into the region of Asia, Africa, Eurasia, etc. So all the troubles were there into the mainland of Eurasia, Asia, Europe. So North America was a little bit away, and it was believed that always they will be maintaining that particular kind of a security, and whenever there will be any kind of a trouble, they can enjoy peace into their a kind of a capsule. But that particular thing was breached by the 9/11 attack. It was made them realize that you are not impermeable, and basically the trouble can basically come into the USA also. The psyche of the US, the American dream that they are impermeable, was broken after the 9/11 attack. Even a small terrorist organization broke that American dream of the safety and security. So this was the first implication of 9/11 attack. Then guys, after that, basically the next issue that happened is that, see, there is the Westphalian international system. Now what is the Westphalian international system? Basically the Treaty of the Westphalia. It is a particular kind of a milestone into the international onto the international arena. Basically it is believed that the sovereignty is kind of intrinsic to every state. Sovereignty means the state's supreme power. So basically the sovereignty and the security, these were the two important hallmarks. Now, as the Al Qaeda attacked onto the USA, USA's sovereignty, USA's security was questioned. USA was seen into a kind of a less competent kind of state. So this was the implication of the 9/11 attack onto the USA again. Then, guys, third thing that comes here is that basically it was said that the terrorist attacks, or the terrorist taking over the power, terrorist wreaking the havoc onto the people, it will be there into the countries which were the remnant of the empires, okay, where the contempt have basically the Gulf War, the East Africa, these are the places where the empires earlier ruled, and these remnants are still there, and these remnants are creating a kind of a disturbance. America believed that we are a democracy, and being the democracy, such kind of things cannot happen into the USA. But that particular thing was again shaken up when the attack happened onto the USA. Basically the rise of political Islam was not taken into the account, and that particular thing impacted the USA after the 9/11 attack happened. So that is one thing. Then guys, the next issue that has happened, basically after the 9/11 attack, there was the National Commission on Terrorist Attack that was established. This commission is also called as the 9/11 Commission. And 9/11 Commission said that when we see the USA has said that it is one of the most advanced state into the world. It has all the surveillance system, it has all the real-time updates about all the events that are developing, fine. But still the USA lacked the imagination, and into that imagination they failed to imagine that at what length the Al Qaeda can go. Though there was no intelligence into that particular thing, but the imagination along with the intelligence needs to be there into the state. So the failure of imagination led to not anticipating this particular kind of attack. And from this particular point, guys, we can take a lesson from for India also, that India also, apart from intelligence, needs to have a kind of apart from intelligence, needs to have a kind of an imagination, because only if we have imagination we can think that where the Afghanistan can go, how, in what way the Pakistan can support the militancy into the Jammu and Kashmir. So basically the 9/11 attack was symbolic on all of these particular fronts. Now this particular idea we have taken up from all these 4 articles that are there. Now what has happened the post 9/11, how the situation into the USA and situation on into the world has changed. Number one, guys, when we talk about the 9/11, the response to 9/11 was built on frightening empowerment of new national intelligence system. Now the intelligence system of the USA, the CIA, they became even more powered, and into that particular thing, even a full-fledged new era of state surveillance got started. Now that state surveillance was not only for the USA but for the entire world. And guys, we have seen this particular thing after the Edward Snowden revealed this particular thing, the extent of surveillance that was going on. So Edward Snowden, fine, former for former personnel working with the US intelligence, he revealed that USA is spying onto the countries also. Is it clear? There was spying onto the India also. So this new level of state intelligence, it increased, and even more sophisticated surveillance system at the home and the abroad, it got developed. Is it clear? Then the next thing comes that the land of the free. Always USA has been called as the land of free people, but this land of free people became a kind of a became a different kind of a land, and the privacy and all such kind of things, they were compromised. Is it clear? And basically the libertarianism for which the USA had always said, the rights for which USA has always praised itself, that particular rights were no longer enjoyed by the citizens. Into the name of national security, they were being searched, they were being basically onto their privacy, the raid was made. And the most important thing that came after the 9/11 was the Patriot Act. Now, guys, this Patriot Act gave large number of power to the enforcement agencies into the USA. And under this particular Patriot Act, they can book any person under the suspicion. And under this particular Patriot Act, basically the problem was faced by the Muslim communities who were living into the USA, or the Muslim migrants, immigrants who were going into the USA. Traveling to a USA onto a Muslim passport from a Muslim country became almost a kind of an impossible thing, and the Muslim community living there, always they were seen with the suspicion. And this particular thing, friends, is problematic because the USA is one of the country which actually had established the secularism into their constitution by the first constitutional amendment act. And under a secular state, if one religious community is especially seen by the suspicion and all such kind of thing, then it is a kind of a failure of a state. So this is other problem that has happened. Then, guys, next thing that has developed here is that basically the USA developed that their strategy is the war onto the terrorism, and for controlling the terrorism, they got occupied into the Afghanistan, and they actually forgot to focus onto the China, which was rising day by day. And therefore, what has happened, the rise of China had come because of the ignorance of the USA, and basically the rise was only becoming noticeable into the time of Xi Jinping, when Xi Jinping adopted the Deng Xiaoping's 24 character strategy. Now, guys, what is this Deng Xiaoping's 24 character strategy? Now, Deng Xiaoping, fine, who became the chief architect of the China after 1978, he always believed that basically hide your capabilities and bide your time. Okay, until and unless you are not a very big power, don't show to the world that what you are doing inside. So slowly the economic empowerment, military empowerment onto the world scale, into the export and all such kind of thing, China was achieving, and USA did not notice that particular thing. Now, what happened after 2017 and 18, the Xi Jinping abandoned that particular thing, and they were driven by the arrival factor. They started to showcase their power onto the world stage, and now in 2020, that China's showcase of their power had become so much outright that now we are saying that the China is going with the wolf warrior diplomacy. Now everywhere China show its muscle power. It has happened with the India into the case of the LAC. It has happened with the USA where the China rebushes the USA every time. It is happening into the South China Sea. So the China's spectacular rise had happened at the cost of ignorance by the USA, and now this particular cost will be paid by the USA into the times to come. Then the second implication of this particular thing is that USA got embroiled into unwindable war. Now, what were these unwindable war? See, the USA got involved into the Afghanistan, and Afghanistan has been called as the graveyard of the empires. No person had established their supremacy into the Afghanistan. Earlier in 1979, when the Soviet Union came, they were not able to achieve something substantial. Then the USA came. Basically, nearly $3 trillion have been invested into the Afghanistan by the USA, but outcome is nowhere there. What has happened? Taliban 1 has been replaced by the Taliban 2. So what is the advantage of all that particular money that has been put there? So unwindable war, it got involved in, and it was a diplomatic failure onto the part of a USA. So this is the key message that has been given into all of these particular articles. And basically we need to learn this particular lesson from the USA also, that how the diplomatic maneuvers should be done. So guys, that is all the key message that has been given here. Fine, I will advise you that you should not read too much onto this particular 9/11. This particular thing which we have done here will be much more than sufficient for our examination. Fine. So guys, that is all about the editorials, and now let's move to the next article. Now, this is the another editorial that we have taken up from the Indian Express, the India Advantage, and it will be important for our GS paper number 2 as the key takeaways from the attack onto the USA into the 9/11. Basically, guys, this particular article says that what has happened 20-year anniversary of 9/11 terror attack. We are basically remembering, which was actually a very horrific kind of a moment. Now, basically, the coming decades, okay, next 10 years, next 20 years, can put India onto a center stage, can make India actually a kind of a leader country, but only if India takes some kind of a lesson and if we utilize that particular lesson to its advantage. Now guys, see, basically if we see India's earlier role, that how India had earlier moved, then certain points are there which we can see. Number one, when we talk about the insurgency going on into the India since 1989, particularly into the Kashmir, it has been very well known that into the Kashmir, Pakistan has sponsored the terrorism. Is it clear? Now, as if the Pakistan was sponsoring the terrorism in India, guys, till 2000, if I tell you, the Pakistan was supported by the West country also, particularly by the US and the UK. They were having very good relation with the Pakistan. Now, India from 1989 to 2000 never utilized their relationship with the US and UK to sideline the Pakistan. Pakistan were getting the funding, Pakistan was getting the support, and Pakistan utilizing that particular thing into the Kashmir. But India did not did that particular thing. What happened? Actually, at the 9/11, when the attack happened onto the USA, and it was found out that the Al Qaeda was behind that particular attack, and Al Qaeda is based into Afghanistan, and Afghanistan is many a times getting support by the Pakistan. So basically, the Pakistan's role got identified, and the Pakistan was seen under the lens of the terrorism promoting state. And then only the USA and India came together, and Pakistan became a kind of a priority. That is the another thing that has happened. Then guys, after that, what actually happened? 26/11 terror attacks had happened into the Mumbai in India. Clear, that was a very horrific moment. We can call it as a 9/11 of India. Now, when the 9/11 happened in USA took a very clear kind of an approach onto the Afghanistan, but India did not took that particular kind of approach onto the Pakistan. What happened? Even after 2008, a strategic restraint was adopted by the country, and the Pakistan was not tamed here. Now guys, if we see, basically at the same time around this particular thing, two other developments are going on into the India. Number one development, what has happened? The national leadership that has now been formed into the India, they are having a very strong democratic mandate. Second thing guys that has happened is that we have achieved a kind of a economic heft. We have developed a kind of a economic progress over the past few years, and this particular two factors actually basically compelled India that rather than looking onto the Pakistan and all such kind of thing, we should focus onto our own development. We should see that how India can rise itself. Okay, and this particular focus was there. So guys, again we ignored the Pakistan, but the question which has come here is that we actually achieved the economic growth in 2001, where India's per capita GDP outpaced the Pakistan. So in 2001 only we outpaced the Pakistan in terms of the per capita GDP. This was after the 36 years of the 1965 attack. So guys, it was actually a very long time to surpass the Pakistan. After that guys, it has been seen this particular thing that since the 9/11, the world is shifting. Because before the 9/11, there it was said that there is a unipolarity into the world, and this unipolarity, only one superpower is there, that is the USA. Clear? Before that there was a bipolarity before the 1990s, because along with the USA, USSR was also there. After integration of USSR in 1991, unipolarity come, USA became the superpower. Now what happened? The China is emerging a new pole of power. Is it clear? Why China is emerging new pole of power? Because guys, China played very strategically. Fine, India would have happened at this particular point, but India is not there. China is emerging to be a powerhouse. Now what has happened? At the same time, our dependence onto the China is increased so much, which is not very much desirable, because we don't have very cordial relation with the China. So guys, what had happened now? We have actually introspected ourselves and we are now identifying that, okay, what kind of problems or what kind of mistakes we had committed into the past. Over dependence onto the China, not factoring the Pakistan, not factoring the terrorism being promoted by the Pakistan. Okay, so these are the some of the lessons which had kept India behind, and if next 10 to 20 years we want to take advantage of, we need to learn from the history, we need to see history into a critical line, we need to take up a lesson, and only if those lessons are taken, then India advantage can be achieved, advantage onto the geopolitics, economy, only then we can achieve. So that is the key message that has been given into this particular article. I hope guys that you have understood this particular article, and now we will be moving to the next article. Now, this particular article again taken up from the Indian Express, and guys, it is talking about the state of agriculture and agriculture households into the India. This article will be important for our GS paper number 3, issues related to the agriculture and issues related to the agrarian economy. Fine. Now, what has happened into this article? Into this article, guys, the report has been published. What is the name of report? First of all, the name of a report is Situation Assessment of Agriculture Households and Land Holding of Households in Rural India report. Now, this particular report has been published by the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, and under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, many a times I have told you that there is an organization, that is the NSO, National Statistical Office. So NSO within the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation had published this particular report. You don't need to remember the entire name of a report, just you can say a report by NSO. Now, this particular report has provided that what is the status of a loan per agriculture household, what is the agricultural income right now. Now, all these particular estimates, guys, you need if you are writing any answer onto the state of Indian economy, particularly the agriculture. So basically, this particular article provides that first of all, the average outstanding loan per agricultural household had actually increased in 2018 to 57.7%. So when we compare the agricultural household loan with 2013, it has increased to 57.7% in 2018. Fine. So this is actually not a very good development into the last 5 years. Okay. Then the second finding of this particular report that is there, this particular report is that basically average monthly income from different sources. Okay, average monthly income of an agricultural household from different sources, it has increased to 59%. Okay, and this 59% increase is seen on paid out expenses approach. Okay, so when we compare the household income in 2012 and 13, then we see that in 2018 and 19, 59% increase is there. Now guys, basically why this particular increase into the income is there? This increase is because the more than 50% of the increase in income was on to the account of higher monthly wages, minimum monthly wages, which has increased. It has increased the average monthly income of the agricultural household by 59% approximately. That is the another finding. Now guys, we have used the word that is the paid out expenses approach. Now what is the paid out expenses approach? Guys, here what we do, just the expenditures we are doing out of pocket onto some of the inputs. Okay, the expenditure I am doing for buying the seeds, for buying the fertilizer, for buying the manure, that particular thing we see that what out of pocket expenditure I have done. Suppose I have done out of pocket expenditure of 100 rupees. Okay, so how much more now I am earning. Okay, so that is the increase into the agricultural income, fine, of the household. So that is the paid out expenses approach. Fine. However, you don't need to go too much into this particular technicality because not important for our examination. Just you need to see that 59% increase is there into the average monthly income. That is a good thing, that is a positive thing. And guys, if this particular trend continues, then doubling the farmer's income dream of India can also be achieved. After that, it has been provided that the number of agricultural households with the outstanding loan, fine, during the month of July December was 1 lakh less than the 2013 estimate. So there are 1 lakh less households than the agricultural loan. Is it clear? So that is the thing that has happened. Now guys, you don't need to get confused here. Into the first finding, we have seen that the average outstanding loan per agricultural household, fine, okay, the amount of loan, it has increased, but when we see in 2018 there was 1 lakh less basically outstanding loans. Okay, the households, the number of households were less. So basically this is about there. Guys, you don't need to go in too much into the nitty gritties. Just two things you need to understand, that in terms of the amount, the households has increased, and secondly that in terms of income also there is a kind of an improvement. You can just provide the NSO report into this particular direction. That is all, guys, about this particular article, and now we'll move to the next article. Now, this particular article again taken up from the Indian Express newspaper, and it is talking about the WhatsApp end-to-end encryption policy. Fine, guys, into the last few days, the WhatsApp end-to-end encryption policy was many a times into the newspaper. The reason being that what has happened, India came out with the IT rules, okay, IT rules 2021. And into this particular IT rules 2021, there was a kind of a rule for the significant social media intermediary. Now, the significant social media intermediary simply means those platforms, those social media platforms where more than 50 lakh users are there. Now, there was a condition that the significant social media intermediaries need to identify the original originator of the message. Okay, from where the message got originated, these significant social media intermediaries need to identify. WhatsApp said that we cannot identify the messages from where they got originated. Why? Because we use the end-to-end encryption. End-to-end encryption means that the message that you are sending and the message another person is receiving, they cannot be read in between, because they are encrypted by a kind of a randomized key, and that particular thing cannot even be undone by the WhatsApp, so nobody can read it. So therefore WhatsApp said that we cannot provide that who was the first originator of the message. Now the US, basically the country India, it said that you need to come out with a policy that how you can break this end-to-end encryption, but the WhatsApp said that it will lead to an implication on to the privacy of the citizens, and that particular thing we cannot do. So therefore a kind of a dispute was going between the WhatsApp as well as the government. Now what had happened, as this particular thing was going on, WhatsApp had announced even more thing. It said that even the end-to-end encryption option will be given for the backups. Now what does this mean, guys? Suppose that you are having a kind of a WhatsApp account. Now you, if want, you can store your WhatsApp chat history onto the cloud. Okay, now there is the iCloud, okay, that is driven by that is for the Apple, and there is the Google Cloud also, which is for the Android. So you can store your WhatsApp chat onto this iCloud or onto the Google Cloud. Fine. Now earlier when this particular chat was being stored there, okay, it was not encrypted at that point of time. Now the WhatsApp had said that we have designed a particular kind of a new platform where even if you are storing your chat onto the iCloud or onto the Google Cloud, that particular thing will also be encrypted. Now this particular thing again will guys again be frustrating the enforcement agencies, because earlier if the chat is stored onto the cloud, okay, then that particular thing could be accessed. Now that thing even will not be accessed, and therefore a kind of a new round of confrontation can begin between the WhatsApp and the enforcement agencies, because they say that the national security is important, WhatsApp says that the user privacy is important. Now both are actually important, and maintaining a balance here, it is actually a very problematic thing. So guys, that is all what has happened here, and into the times to come we have to see that how this particular thing will be reacted. Okay, so guys, that is all about this particular article. So friends, that is all for the today's newspaper analysis. Now apart from this, other articles are not very much there, being Saturday. You know that the Mint is also not published, otherwise we would have taken it up. Moreover, the Hindu is also not there, and other articles are mainly onto the 9/11 that we have already discussed. So that is all for today's, guys. If you liked the initiative, please do hit the like button, please to subscribe to our channel, please do spread the initiative. So that is all for today. We will be meeting now on to the Monday. Thank you.